funded by Airbus, and it is part of the Blue Condor project where we're doing contrail research. And it's essentially a stock Arcus that has been modified to hold a TJ100 jet engine. It has 250 pounds of thrust at sea level, and it self-launches very nicely. One of the features of this sailplane, all Dennis's sailplane, is a system that Morgan Sondercock built, and it's automatic flap system. So if you see a little actuator here, it is an electric actuator that has this arm that goes to this lever here, which connects to the flap handle. And when the system is operational, Morgan is taking the airspeed and the G load to calculate the lift coefficient and adjust the flaps infinitely variable as you fly. So it kind of makes it like a standard class airplane. You don't have to waste any brain bites figuring out where you put the flaps. An extremely successful system. And it's kind of a brilliant design. If something goes wrong with the system, you just grab the handle, completely disconnect it, and you're back to the standard flap system on the Arcus. Well, the jet engine, as I said, is, I guess, 256 pounds of thrust at sea level, standard day. Other than that, it's a very simple operation. You know, it's pretty much automatic. You know, you turn it on, and it comes out of the engine bay, and the start lever, and the start sequence is automatic. And then when you go to shut it down, you just turn it off, and after a 2-minute cool down, it automatically retracts and goes away in the engine.
What are you hoping to get from using this engine?
Well, Dennis decided to build the jets because when you're wave flying, the piston engine gets really cold soaked. So you cannot reliably count on it for starting if you get low while you're flying in the wave. The other thing, the piston engine, if it doesn't start, the drag is very high, so it's kind of like having your air brakes out. Whereas if you put the jet out and it doesn't start, the drag is hard to tell that it's there. And this jet, you can cruise long distances with it at higher speeds. So if you're at, say, 17,000 feet down by Bishop and you want to come home to Minden, which is about 100 nautical miles, you can cruise at 100 knots indicated instead of 60 knots. We have a 6 Delta Tango, which is now the Blue Condor, the world's only single-seat Arcus. And this sailplane has been modified to operate with a jet engine, which uses hydrogen gas for fuel. So it's an Aerodesign Works engine called the A800. And basically, the engine gets fuel from the 2 tanks, which are in the now rear cockpit area. Each one of these tanks weighs 48 kilograms, and at 12,000 psi or 800 atmospheric pressure, it holds 2.5 kilos of hydrogen. And basically, we're doing contrail research with it since the same amount of energy, hydrogen versus kerosene, the hydrogen has 2.5 times the water vapor emission.
So tank 1 and tank 2.
That's correct. We're doing the research because the hydrogen has 2.5 times the water vapor. It's possible that we have these really large contrails. On the other hand, in order for condensation to occur, you have to have some condensation nuclei. And when you burn hydrogen, you're not making any soot, which acts as a nuclei. So the purpose of the project is to determine whether we actually get these large contrails. Now, the power unit is essentially equivalent to the TJ100. It's got about the same amount of thrust. And the big difference is the combustion chamber has been modified to support the combustion of hydrogen.
And does that present different challenges from using other fuels?
Well, to optimize the thrust from the hydrogen, basically it has a different spray pattern for the gaseous hydrogen. Yes, I've flown it, I think, 8 times with the engine on and 15 times total. We've been to 31,000 feet with it. Fortunately, the Perlan's in the trailer in a different hangar, and the struts on the trailer top failed, so it takes about 4 people to lift the lid. Otherwise, I would open the trailer and let you see the Perlan.
You go flying today?
Yes, I'm going to go fly with one of my buddies, Alan Coombs. Yesterday, the cloud bases were about 11,500, which for Minden is extremely low, given the terrain and the lack of landing areas in some segments of our flying area. So today's going to be about the same, but we'll go have fun.